So, guys, let me just introduce myself first. I am Sarthak, and you have seen me before in the webinars, answering your questions and taking questions on stop losses. It's coming, I promise you. Um, so, what do I do with Bridgeweave? So, like Shruti said, I head product development, and I head Bridgeweave Labs, which is basically a lot of data scientists that you have among us here. And in my day-to-day work, I design algos and I design frameworks, and all of that good stuff. Before Bridgeweave, I used to work for an AI company based out of Austin, Texas. They became very big. I joined them as a startup. Prior to that, I spent 10 years at UBS at different capacities in investment bank, in wealth, and the last role that I left at UBS was as a chief architect at the CIO office and managing over a lot of money then. Um, I have also worked with government bodies like European Union. I have a double master's. I have an MBA finance. I have a master's in informatica. And but most importantly, I'm really proud of the fact that I am Bridgeweave 002. So Akshaya 001 and I'm 002. So hi. So we also have Ravi here, who's literally one of the most intelligent men I have met. He's got a plethora of knowledge. He's played many leadership roles across his lifespan. Ravi, do you want to just highlight and enrich us in terms of your experience and what you have done before?
Thank you. And firstly, thanks to the audience. And it's so happy to be a part of the family. I'm a part of the Bridgeview family for the last 1.5 months. And I'm going to give you a little bit of story about myself and explain why Bridgewave is important for me personally and how I think it fits into the lives of investment world in India and across the world. I started my career with, I'm actually a mechanical engineer from IT Madras and started my career at SBI Capital Markets after my MBA from IIM Calcutta. And this is predating most of the folks in this call. They may not even have been born. And this was in the days of paper trading. And it used to be physical deliveries with the green slips. And I hope we have a few who can recognize that green slips and delivery and open cry out in the Bombay Stock Exchange in the 21st floor. So that's the day and age where I start my career. But at the same time, I've seen very closely how investment has changed, not just in India, but also across the world. I've been working in multiple markets across the world in various roles. And from SBI Capital Markets, then I was the one who set up the Centurion Bank together with a team of folks. And I was a treasurer there and I was doing a lot of investments over there. And then I was working together with uh, Alpic Finance, where we worked with Allianz to set up their life and non-life insurances in India. And then I joined Akshay. I joined Akshay when he was at Infosys, and I was heading risk management for Infosys, and I've seen all the large institutions come into India through Infosys, whether it is a JP Morgan, whether it is Fidelity, whether it is BNY Mellon, Deutsche Bank, everyone has come through Infosys, and I've been a part of that. And for the last 10 years, I have been a part of State Street, which is the world's largest custodian. And I've done alternate portfolios as well as in the last few years, I was focusing on institutional investments, whether it is sovereigns, whether it is pensions, all of them. So I've seen institutional investment, I've seen proprietary investment, and I'm so excited to be here with this group basically because we all are in this together to change the way investments are made. And I'm so proud to be a part of this team and so happy for welcoming me, Sarthak.
Thank you. I mean, look, Ravi, you were born at a time problem. you know, I would normally say we were born in the times of the AI. This is where everything is going AI and all of that. So today, guys, we'll have a very different structure. So what we will do is we'll talk about investment styles, and then I will let Ravi question me in terms of what he finds fascinating, and we'll then open it up to you guys in terms of what do you want to know in terms of you can go as technical as you want. And today we don't have our boss, so feel free. So Ravi, you like you said, you've been investing for decades now. How would you define your investment style? Are you a buy and hold investor? Are you constantly churn your portfolio? And has it evolved since when you started?
Excellent, Sarthak. Okay, let me say that I don't think I have a fixed approach. So it's not going to be buy and hold. It's not going to be trading. It is all about information and risk. That's all that has been driving investment decisions, not just now, but from 1990.
Mhm,
Okay, and what do we mean by information has evolved.
mhm,
I mean, whenever I meet my friends, there used to be days when information is you have to pick up a phone, ask somebody, hey, what's happening to this company?
yeah.
Those days are gone. Today, information is available equally for everyone. Then it becomes what do you do with this information? How do you process all of this information? And how do you then have actionable information come to you?
Yes.
Honestly, I don't have too much time on
Mhm,
my hand when I make my investment decisions.
mhm,
And that is where I've always been looking for somebody who can process all of this information and tell me specific information which I need to act upon,
yeah.
which is where AI and which is where machine learning is going to help for all of us a
Mhm,
lot, is what I believe. But we'll discover that during this conversation for the next 15, 20 minutes. So I do have portfolios where I churn the portfolios every 2, 3 days.
mhm.
At the same time, I also have steady allocation over a period of time.
Okay. I mean, and that's really what it should be. Investments always should have a goal, right? Otherwise, you're just doing it for the sake of it. Ravi, it's very interesting. You mentioned that you used to speak to your friends and you used to get information, you absorb that, and you then take in data-driven decision. But what is the KPI that you typically look at, and has that evolved over time? Typically when you make a buy and sell decision.
I think it is all starting with investment objectives, right? I mean, so when you are investing with your retirement in mind,
Yes.
your focus is not as much about growth, it's not as much about returns, but it's about protecting your capital.
Mhm.
Okay. And at the same time, you also make investments when you focus on the timing.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
You can do an asset allocation decisions, but still it doesn't actually preclude you from timing the market
Mhm,
accurately. So it's actually a balance between both. So you do
mhm,
get information and try to time the market.
mhm,
But the only change that has happened for me,
mhm,
not just at individual level, but also at institutional investment, is there used to be a time when it is all about gut feel.
mhm.
Today, gut feel is getting refined. Even today, it is gut feel. But the gut feel is getting refined by filtered information.
Yes, of course. Yes, yes, yes. So now, you've spent 2, 3 months with Investor AI, and as a matter of fact, you've been using it since December, since it came out. What is it? There are many, many enablers. There are zerothers in the world which allow you to trade. Now, any 12-year-old can trade because they've made it very seamless, right? But when you use Investor AI, what is it that helps you? What is it that made you like, wow, this really works, and and has helped you adapt your investment style to it?
Yeah, as I told you guys when I started introducing myself and my journey with InvestorAi, I started with doubt.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't trust anything till I test myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so I started with a tremendous amount of doubt, because I'm here going to trust a set of information that is flowing to me,
Mm-hmm.
which earlier was so much dependent on my own intuition.
Yes, of course.
Okay, and so that's one part of it. Now that I have trusted it, I only test it on a longer term basis.
Okay.
I still test it. I still test it on a 4-week basis on saying, hey, are these algorithms making sense, not making sense? And I don't even have to do that. I just click on the arrow on the top and it tells me where we are.
Yeah.
But I can tell you my own real experience. I mean, I'll tell you the not so nice experience. And I think I've also been chatting with a few guys on this group. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Reddy's. Okay. Dr. Reddy's is an insight. I have got into it 10th of May and it's never hit the goal. But I'm not going to exit till the 30 days, which is the 10th of June, purely because I trust and I don't have the time to apply my own mind onto it. Because if I'm going to apply my own mind, I will keep InvestorAi away. The fact that I'm going to use InvestorAI to complement, like as Akshay was saying in the last webinar, it is InvestorAI and you. And that's the only way it works. And so I trust it. And that's what it is. But at the same time, it has also worked the other way. I mean, take Pidilite, take SBI. I mean, it all crossed the thresholds of 3% long back. In fact, Pidilite met that expectation within a day. But it still kept on going up. But when I'm trusting it, I have a goal to be met and I exit. So I trust what I'm using and I don't want to overlay my own threshold, because in which case I'm not trusting it.
Correct. And this only comes when you start using it and some of your targets hit, there is conviction in the algo, right? Because it worked for the 4 times. Why not the 5th, right? That's where, and again, nothing is 100% in this world. But having said that, 75 to 85% is good enough. And that, supplements your judgment. But, you made a very interesting point the other day when you spoke about, every investor needs to make data-driven decisions. But having said that, that's not really a replacement for the human intelligence. So, again, when we were, Akshay and myself, we started curating this product, the idea was...
we just, sorry, just jumping in because, we just thought we'd have this poll up, for people.
Yeah.
Oh, have you made money in the last 6 months? It's 57%. This is a bull market, guys. You should all be making money. There is 0% consistent losses. Shailesh is not here.
But the month of May has been flat. It's not been a bull market.
In the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting results. And most of the time, 55% of the people, I think a lot of those people could be the InvestorAi users, isn't it? But yeah, that's very good. Let's share the results with the team. Yep. So coming back to the point, Ravi, I think you made a very good point where you were mentioning, it is data-driven decision, but it's not a supplement for human intelligence. Like, for example, people who got into COVID vaccine stocks. Okay, my background is going in and out of focus. Okay. Is this happening for everybody else?
You're okay.
Okay. No worries. Sorry. So when, me and Akshaya wanted to do this, we never wanted to give advice. We wanted to augment any advisor, any investor with intelligence that he can work on. And that's why I think, Ravi, you had a series of questions that you wanted to ask me in terms of, how the algos are built, what are the KPIs that you should look at, what do you mean by this stuff? I'm happy to answer all those questions today. But before I do that, let me share the screen so that of the app so that people can look at this and, and again, if you have questions on specific sections of the app, I'm happy to do so. So let me just share my screen.
While you're
trying to bring it up. Sarthak, okay, let me start my first question, or before even a question, I'm going to give an observation. I want you to say whether I've got it right or not. Okay.
Sure.
When I keep looking at the market, okay, I keep seeing banking go up when the COVID fear goes away, and then at the same time when the COVID fear fades away, pharma sinks.
Yes.
So this is intuitive, right? I don't even need an InvestorAi app. I don't even need analytics. When the number of patients go down, automatically pharma sinks and the banking goes up.
Yeah.
Intuitive. Okay. But at the same time, within the banking itself,
yes.
Okay, I've seen you guys say SBI is going to go up.
Exactly.
And this was a signal that came on 1st of May. And of course, as I told you, I invested and I got out. Okay, when my goals were met, and I feel bad to have got out, but that's who I am. Okay, but that's okay. But my question is, how do you pick what exactly happens behind it? Because while SBI went up consistently, HDFC Bank was fluctuating.
Correct.
What does your mission do?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. And I think to answer that, let me speak about the engineering of the algos. See, when you look at AI models, the predictability power of an AI model is dependent on the features that we put into the system. And in Investor AI, like let's take an example for that will help. Let's say value investing. Let's take SBI for example, and SDFC Bank and all of those. So why do SBI and suddenly SDFC became Insight? That's because, besides stock features, we also add aggregated sectorial features. So moving average of the entire sector. So what we know is the entire banking is getting re-rated. And now we have a clear signal that this sector is getting re-rated, is getting preferred over pharma. There's a risk on trade. Guys, there's a risk on, there's a risk off. Risk off is when you go defensives, risk on is when you go, more into cyclicals, etc. All that is basically coming from macro features. These are moving average based features measured across the entire sector. So, recently, once the COVID numbers started going down, stuff like SBI, SBIN, etc., which had corrected very deeply, like 30% during the worst periods of COVID, started appearing because the moving average of the entire sector started going up. And obviously SBI at the current level of valuation, I mean, it was just extraordinary. I mean, look at it. On 19th April, it was at $331, right? Now it's at 401. And again, like Ravi said, they are very important KPIs that helps you feel good that your investment is secure. And that's where you come to the sector rank. See, in the sector rank here, SBI ranks 73% across all its peers. So if there are 100 banking names, SBI is ahead of 73 names, right? Same ways, if you go to the bottom, you can see there is capital structure, there is consensus. These are all components that go into that. So capital structure, obviously banking, typically they have debt in their balance sheets, etc. So the numbers not that great. Consensus view, look, it's 98. So typically almost all the banking companies are below SBI. So you can, the consensus view, this is the street view on the company, is the almost the best. So it was a no-brainer. So now if you go to the back testing, look, typically in the last 2 years there were 2 occurrences, and both of them in the last 3 months have done 20%. So if I can go back to the previous one, sorry, SBI.
Can you stick to the SBI?
Yeah. It's already at 21%. So it's matching the back testing returns. So,
Sarthak, I want to interrupt you here. Okay. Yeah. I mean, because I saw one of the questions saying that tell me all of this information is available to me because it is flowing in from Money Control, it's flowing from Google Finance, it is flowing to me. What information that does is, let's stick to SBI. Yeah. Does InvestorAi give, which is beyond what I get elsewhere? And I understood when you explained, saying you are taking in consensus view, you are taking the market view, you are taking the trends, and you are focused on saying that it's based on prediction. And take SBI still, okay. I entered when it was 5th percentile, which was around 1st of May, 330, and it went up to about 350. I exited. But then I'm tempted today at 399 yesterday, saying, oh, should I get in again? What does the app say, and how do I use this app?
Very good question, Ravi. Like, whoever asked that question is a very smart person. Look, anybody can, put a buy or a sell recommendation on the internet. But the thing is, what is the validation of it? If you really look, if you click on the bullseye button on the top, this is the accuracy that we offer right now. This is the live accuracy. So it's 90% and over 16.5% returns if you had bought all the insights. And again, the markets have been very range bound and been very flat. Um, but the reason is, why are we very different? This might look very familiar, but it's very different because the entire algo DNA, our creative focal point has always been on selection. So what does that mean? So we train our artificial intelligence with 10 years of data. So when SBI's PE, price earnings is this, price to book is this, earnings momentum is this, what's been the returns like? And if that pattern is established, the machine learns that 95% of the times, if this pattern repeats itself and the returns is 20%, there is very high conviction. So for us, our AI, the real intelligence is in selection and also in terms of the timing. When is the perfect time to buy? Is it right now? Is it after 2 days? Because stocks can be undervalued for like months. Like, for example, take Hindustan Unilever. For 2000 to 2010, it never moved, but then it became a 10 bagger. But the idea of using artificial intelligence is it learns from history and then identifies, okay, SBI is exhibiting that pattern right now.
Sarthak,
Yeah.
that was useful for me in the sense that you are saying that it's not a unidimensional model, it is multi-factor model. It takes data from multiple points and it looks at it, and that's exactly why outliers are missed by the model. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing what I heard from you. But I'm now going to take another question from the audience saying,
Yes.
hey, do you take into account all the market dynamics into account when you recommend a swing trade? The question can be reparaphrased differently for you, Sarthak. The question is, do you consume behavioral analytics into it? About because I'll tell you, one thing is to just look at technicals, right? I mean, you can use technical analysis and it's available plenty. But then there is a behavior of the investors. Do we take that into account? How does it work?
Yes.
Can you talk me through that?
Yeah. So, before even I go to that question, every algo is different. So the build that goes into the engineering that goes into it is very different. So if I go to, let's say, Alpha 330 equity, this is a momentum algo. So it is designed to identify winners that can give you short-term alpha. So the features that go into it should actually reflect that. So a lot of Alpha 330 features are based on technicals. It's based on volume. It's based on delivery volumes. It's based on investor behavior in the past few days. So what happens is, when you're trying to build algos, you have to understand what is it that you're trying to predict for. See, in Alpha 330, like I said, it's short-term momentum. So a lot of features would be momentum reflecting. And is there any, what is the second part of your question, Ravi?
No, second part of it is, how is behavioral dynamics of investor pool gets factored into the forecast and prediction. What I mean to say is not just direct volume of trade and the prices. Okay, that's easy to do. Okay.
Correct.
What I'm asking is, let us say that there is a news that is coming up in the market. Are all those news, everything getting factored into our forecast?
Yes. So besides the technicals and some of those fundamental factors, a lot of our feature points are based on consensus views. It's based on street views. So what does this mean? So this means, like, let's take one of those examples. We put an enormous lot of importance on earnings momentum. Earnings momentum is nothing but how the 12-month forward estimates have changed in the last 3 months. So if a company is doing a lot of capex, it's spending a lot of money in distribution, analysts in the street start forecasting higher EPS. And the moment that happens, the system picks up that, the EPS estimates is being revised by 20 analysts. And every time in the last 20 years it has happened, the returns have been 1.6x or 1.5x of the market. So it is very difficult to associate probability with singular features. But if you really look, whenever you're looking at AI, you have to look at the whole picture, as in what is the predictability power of the entire feature set. And again, it is, I mean, look, there are companies that try to you just use technical features and do intraday, etc. But our DNA, it's a potpourri of fundamentals, technicals, and momentum features. That helps us gives us the edge. Like take for example, if I click on the accuracy button here, I know most of you guys know the market's been very flat of late, but over 574 insights, we've done 2.6%. And this number, when the market was bullish and in January, etc., was at 9%. Some of you guys like Shriram, Zopo, you've seen those days, right? So that's how the algos are engineered, Ravi.
That's good, Sarthak. Now talk to me about macroeconomic variables and how do they get factored in. Okay, one thing is I'm happy to see that the accuracy levels are hovering between 75 and 85% across the three different sets of algos. But my question is, will it remain so, or do you have confidence to say that it will remain so when there are macroeconomic changes and drivers?
Yes, see, what typically, if you ask me, do we put GDP numbers and debt numbers, etc., into a model? My answer is no. But what we do is we try to engineer features like how much is cyclical buying, how much is defensive buying, how much is gold buying, because that gives you risk on and risk off. If people are going and buying more gold, there is a very good chance people are going risk off. They don't want to take risk. If people are buying more large caps, again, that indicates risk off trades. If people are going and buying more and more small caps, then obviously there is more risk on, because as you guys know, small caps can be risky in terms of be high beta, can be volatile. So we engineered these features based on the predictability power, guys.
Okay, then this is fine. So let me replay what I heard you say, Sarthak. What you said is you don't go unidimensional saying, oh, I look at the GDP and then write a model of regression of identifying whether the markets will go up or go down. You are saying you will look at a collection of factors and then come with a prediction. Yeah. Did I hear you right, or did I misrepresent you?
Yes, Ravi, you heard it right. I'll give you a very good example. Let's say we are trying to predict housing prices in California. If I say, here's square, Ravi, here's the location, give me a price. It'll be very hard for you. But if I give you the location, I'll give you the square feet, I will give you the distance from the highway, and give you the tax rates. The estimate will be more nearer, right? That is the central idea. Most human beings look at one data point. What the machine does is it looks at all those data points at different dimensional boundaries. A human, we cannot do a multiple dimensions. For a computer, it is very easy. And that is where, all that, nothing in this world is linear. I mean, some things are, but what about things which are non-linear? The only way you can achieve and you can capture that is through machine learning. And that's where all that is being translated. And that's how we are very different from what you see. We have designed it to be very familiar, but that is where the disconnect happens. We are familiar, but we are very different.
So you're not a plain simple regression model. I think that's a good thing to hear, because a lot of times people think history repeats and history doesn't. Yeah. And when people say history doesn't, and it does. And good that we are not relying on the regression. Thank you for that. The next question that I have, Sarthak, for you is, how do you keep calibrating your models? How do you measure your models on an ongoing basis to improve it? Okay, yeah. One thing is you publish the accuracy rate, that's fine. But do you do anything else?
Yeah, so Ravi, before I take that question, Shruti, do you want to throw up a couple of polls just to understand where people are?
I was just going to come in. So I think what I would love to see right now is, Prabal, can we get up the poll around what is the investing experience this group has today on here? Because it's amazing questions. I know you both are busy talking, but I can't believe the number of excellent questions sitting in our chat. So we will need to get to questions as well very fast.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
excellent.
nice. Interesting. Huh?
Oh, first time investors. I mean, that's the biggest trend in the world right now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And that's a
Okay.
very good thing because you're starting from scratch. These are formative years. You're making decisions based on data rather than on impulse and borrowed knowledge. I think that is the best way to start.
Okay, Sarthak, I'm going to speak on behalf of a first-time investor, and
Yeah.
I'm going to ask hopefully a difficult question. Let us see whether it is really difficult or not. Is uh, I want to invest
Yeah.
using my knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
I don't want to just treat investor A or for that matter any other source as a black box.
Hmm.
That's where I come from.
Yeah.
Okay, as a fresh investor,
Hmm.
because I know that I can make money by me taking responsibility for my decisions.
Correct.
Now tell me how I can use
Hmm.
investor AI beyond the signals
Hmm.
to make me make better decisions. What I mean is, if you can go back to the app and say, oh, these signals are fine. Beyond that, I have this information that is available because I don't want to be a blind investor using a black box and then blame investor AI at some point of time or
Correct.
blame money control at some other point of time and things like that. So, talk to me about what else do I have in this app which can actually help me make decisions beyond just selection.
Very good question, Ravi. And look, and that's going back to what I said before. It is augmented intelligence. It is how you use it. Like, for example, Ravi, you said, sometimes you feel that market is overvalued and you want to stick to large caps. So what in that case, you look at large cap insights. And then again, let's say you can go to play. Here you can say, you know what? I think it is better to have dividend income and get into TCS, for example. Let me just click on TCS and I can see compare that to the technology sector. As you can see, TCS is better across all the boards except on the street view. The street view for TCS is little slower because smaller IT companies have higher growth potential, right? Because this is the biggest by far. Now, when you are investing, it is very important to understand where you are at. Are you at risk on? Do you expect to take risk, more risk? Then you would not take TCS. In fact, you would probably then pick up, I don't know, maybe Polaris, I suppose, if you have. No, not Polaris. Ravi, give me a good IT company that you like, small cap.
Of course, Infosys.
A lot of Infosys people here. Now look at Infosys here. This is even more brilliant. So now Infosys captures the entire TCS spider within itself. That means all the parameters TCS, Infosys is better. So capital structure, both of them have no debt, so they are almost the best. Consensus view, Infosys is far, far better than TCS. Obviously, their digital adoption has been much better. Historical performance, Infosys is better. Future outlook, since both are large cap, both are having almost similar, kind of a viewpoint. And then again, once you have done that, you can just click on monitor, Ravi. So you can monitor Infosys here. So whenever there is a signal on Infosys, the system will tell you this is the most opportune moment, my friend. This is where, and you can just go. I'm clicking on the home screen here. So there is a section called Watch List. If you see, I've been covering TCS also. I've been covering Star Cement. Look, this is Infosys. Now, Infosys, as a matter of fact, become an insight on 22nd April. I think it already did that 3% and it came back. Just a second. Let's look at the live info. So if you see 1 month in uh, Infosys is, we generated it around 13. What is the price that we generated it at? Just a second. Inception price. Okay.
I think around.
I'm sorry. So the returns has been 0.03. I think it did that performance and it actually came back. So same ways you can see similar stocks here, other companies that are similar to Infosys that you can look at, and the insight returns from them also. Look at Oracle Financial Services. You know them very well, isn't it, Ravi? And look, they've
I
done
come with
really well.
that.
11.4%. So that is also very good. So it depends on, see, if your intuition says risk on, risk off, your intuition says this sector, the AI identifies which are the best picks from there, right? So you don't have to go through every balance sheet, you don't have to go through every projection, but look at an actionable insight. And now if you like it, you can just press on the trade button and it will connect you to the gateway and you can place your trades. And we have a lot of more features coming in where you can monitor your portfolio, etc. But I'm realizing Shruti just unmuted herself because we have a ton of questions. I'll just stop here and
Arthur, I actually wanted you to show the audience, one of the things I love about Investor AI,
Sure.
and as a fairly new person investing myself, is the ability to discover stocks that nobody is talking about in the market, right? I mean, see, Infosys, TCS, Oracle, I mean, these are big names, but
Yeah.
I think what Investor AI does is those insights that we get, for example, what we saw on HighCal, what we saw on Triveni, what we saw on Make Money, these are not even names people know, but look at the kind of returns, and insights that came up. So I think that, because somebody asked us a question, Aditi, she said, what will I get if I take Investor AI? So I think it is about, other than the obvious things, it is about stocks you just never even thought about. Nobody's talking about these stocks.
Yeah,
So
I mean, absolutely. So let's take, GPPL. So Gujarat Paper Port Limited. Again, not something that everybody trades every day. But if you really look, the shipments have increased, lots and lots of imports coming in. 23rd April, that became an insight. Even GE Shipping, that's another insight, which did like 30 odd percent. But okay. So if you see, it came at 10th percentile. So it is identifying it. Most recommendations you would see at a money control or some of our competitors will be around the top 50 or the top 100. We have the widest coverage, not in India but globally. So for just for people who have taken international subscription, I just want to show you a couple of things. Let me go to new age themes. Right here, a lot of people want to be the first one to invest in an idea like a hedge fund, right? You can do that here. You can identify, let's say let's go to COVID vaccines, for example, for a change. One sec. So everybody wanted to invest in COVID vaccine. It's a theme that nobody can miss. So I can select top 5. I can select by size. I can select next. I can see a number of names that, COVID vaccine companies. I can see further details. I can select Johnson & Johnson, for example, and I can see how Johnson & Johnson looks. I can even go back and, like a personal quant, I can back test my returns as well. So it enables you to do so. It doesn't replace your intelligence, it augments it. And that is if between Ravi and me, if there's something you want to pick up, it's the fact that it'll augment your intelligence. It will not replace it. So, it'll help you make better decisions with data.
Let me try answering Aditi directly, Shruti, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
Okay. I think the way I think we need to look at Investor AI is that it actually widens your ability to capture and process information. So it gives you, as Shruti said, securities which you would otherwise not have thought of. Like Pidilite is something which I would never have thought of. Okay, because it is some one sector which is not even a fast-moving consumer goods. I don't know how we will pick Pidilite of all of the things. So there is no blind spot for you if you use Investor AI. Point number one. Blind spot in selection, blind spot in risk, all of that. That's one important thing that I want all of us to be acknowledging. The second thing that the Investor AI gives is it respects you. It doesn't give an information and says this is your price marker, this is your target, this is your exit. No, it respects you. And so it allows you to set your own goals and meet that. 3 is it doesn't just blindly suggest a set of securities. It allows you to choose your style, your sector, your focus, and then it gives you an opportunity to build your own portfolios. And of course, even when we construct portfolios and share and things like that, we want to be very respectful of the audience, because as you saw, all the first time investors and the age group that we saw is all people who have enough intellect and they want to make money by themselves. So investor AI is a balance between care and risk taking, opportunity on the other side, but in the middle of it is you as a focal. So you are able to set your own limits, you are able to pick the way you want to pick it and things like that, and that will remain the focus of investor AI. It will not blindly advise you, it will only be an enabler for your decision making. I don't know whether I answered you, Aditi.
I think you did. I think you did. I'm going to just take a couple of questions. Can we start with Ashish for now? He says, why isn't um, genome editing space part of new age themes? Sarthak, do you want to just take
Yes. The biggest problem with us with adding a theme is actually finding companies that have sufficient exposure. Because see, if the theme is too new, you would actually have conglomerates actually have very like 2% exposure and 98% exposure to something else. And again, then you're not really getting exposure to that company or that theme. So first we identify if there are enough companies working on that theme, then we start initiation. So we will look into it. Labs will take that up very soon, and hopefully once you're an international subscriber, then you can look at it.
Great. Gaurav Dhoot had a couple of questions, but I'm going to take this one, Gaurav, of yours, because I see Shailesh has answered some of the others. Is there any chance of investor AI getting tied up with brokerages like Zerodha and offer automatic algo trading, which is actually good for investors who are busy doing their jobs but want to be investors in the market?
So the thing is, you can now trade directly with like 95% of Indian brokers through the app. There's a trade button. I can show you if you want. I think I did. I'll do that again. Ravi, you wanted to say something? You can go ahead.
Yeah, I think we are broker agnostic. Point number one. Two is when it comes to enabling trades, I think we are already enabled the trades, which is what Sarthak is going to show. But would we be enabling even tighter integration for pushing through real-time trades and things like that? Those are all in the roadmap. Gaurav, you will hear about it in the days to come. But otherwise, today, if you are already, I mean, I myself am a Zerodha account holder, and I do trade on Zerodha fairly often. But if you're talking about algorithmic trading and automated trading and things like that, I think all of them have the APIs. It is easy to integrate, but that's not the core focus for now. But would we do that over a period of time? Answer is yes.
So guys, if you go to any Indian Insight, if you press on the trade button, it will connect you to the small case gateway. You can then choose your broker. Right now the market's closed, so that's why it's not really functioning. So you can then select whichever you want, whichever broker. So you'll have an option here that's just going to pop up. Right now, I think the market's down or they're into maintenance, but a lot of people actually trade through this. So I'll just go back. So every Indian Insight, you would have a trade button like Sheila Foam or anything. So right now, it's our partner is there. Okay. Oh, finally got it.
The market is not open.
No, it's not. Got it. So now I will not type my password. So here you can actually go and trade and put the orders yourself.
Okay.
So Sarthak, Ravi, we have a few more questions and I
Sure.
just want to cover some of them. So Kunal asks us a question, and Manoj, I'll get to yours. Kunal asks us a question. I wish to know only quality and undervalued FNO stocks only. Can this app help me filter that?
Absolutely. So if you really look at undervalued, you're looking at value investing algo. And if you're looking at intraday trading using FNO, then swing trading is what you're looking at. Swing trading is our 3-day idea baskets, not basket, but 3-day ideas compiled together. And these are only available on FNO securities. So if they have to be present in FNO for you to, for us to recommend them in swing. So you can go long, you can go short, right?
Okay, so Piyush and Manoj have something around the graph. So I'm just going to combine their question and ask you, Sarthak. Can you show me graphically the relative performance of any stock, predicted and actual, for the past week or so?
Okay, so the thing is, right now on the app, we might not have it, but we will send you an email. Shailesh, please take the email address of the person, and we will send him the details of how the performance was. See, remember before, we do not use regression kind of measures like Ravi highlighted. Ours is classification DNA. So we identify stocks that will likely to outperform. So instead of us sending you, Infosys target is 1600, what we can do, show you in terms of how many we classified correctly. So out of the 100 or 300 insights that we have done, how many actually went around, hit the 3% target? That would be, I think, a better measure and better validation measure for our algos.
So Harsh says, and I know Shailesh, you have answered it, but just in case people, didn't see the chat, uh, why why to exit at 3% profit when there is a chance to earn more, and even your AI can predict that? Then why not have AI, tell us to, basically suggest a hold or an exit?
Yes, so that's, if you really look at how the algos are curated, it's not that, we say after 3% you exit, but a lot of people do that. The reason, there is something on the Alpha 330 that says signal status. If the signal status continues to be active, even after the 3% is achieved, that means the system is saying that it will continue to outperform in the next month, next month also with 3%. So then you should continue to hold. But if it has achieved that 3% and the signal goes down, that means the alpha has been achieved. Now wait for another signal.
I like Vaibhav's question. Is Investor AI a replacement for technical analysis?
No. And in Investor AI, there is a section called technicals. We cover every single, almost 90-95% of all major technicals also. This is on the technical sections at the bottom, where you can go and see technicals also for every security. As a matter of fact, we make it very easy. Most people have to read charts. What we do is our AI reads the charts. You can select any sector in any country. It will tell you what pattern it's exhibiting, or if there is a
Karthik,
pattern
do you want
that's
to
present.
just put it up on
Sure,
screen and
of
maybe
course.
just show it? And while he gets that up, um, we have one more question. Aman says, can this app help us identify any operator movements in stocks?
Do you really want me to answer that on the live webinar? So this is the technical section. This is, you have morning doji. Aman, okay, just call me later, we'll speak. Bullish MACD crossover with SMA crossover, RSI with ADI bullish, etc. You can click on them. You can select the country, for example. You can select whichever sector you want. Let's say industrials, press next. And it will tell you, okay, there are 3 companies right now which are showing relative strength index indicator plus ADX bullish pattern. And then you can see further details. You can click on that stock and it will show you the performance. Its beta is 0.82. Last year performance has been poor, and the spider chart. And furthermore, the history. 9 times in the past 3 years, average one ring returns is 1.2%. So not really great. So ignore. So AI does all the hard work for you rather than you going and reading the chart and trying to, interpret the same. So this is technicals for people who like fundamentals. There is a section called fundamentals as well. So this is all, filters curated based on, and again, you can press the question mark and see the details on what it's mean. I'll do it for one. Let's see. The stocks analyst rating has been upgraded. So this is for consensus rating. Yeah. Sorry, should you say?
Yeah, so I think Vaibhav has still asked what do the stars in the stock signify, and Kunal says please add FNO cash stocks filter.
So the stars mean the quality of the insight interpreted by the AI. So you will only find the stars in technicals and fundamentals. It helps you to decide, if you're looking at 20 signals, look at the ones which have a higher stars, because that are the ones that have historically done well with those patterns.
This is what I was saying, right? I mean, this helps you to narrow in on the focus area. And that's the beauty here. Instead of us having to name a stock and then try to find out, then you leave out blind spots and outliers. So if I am going to start talking about how will I invest in IT, I will start with InvestorAi Pro TCS, and Oracle Financial Services may not even fit in. But you saw Oracle Financial Services outperform. So what would happen is this will actually widen your perspective, but still there is no substitution for your own application of mind.
Okay, so the WhatsApp community, about 81% have said that they're interested in joining. We have put the link up on the chat, so you can just join our community. What's been happening is we've been having a lot of interesting discussions, whether it is your suggestions on features, whether it is subscribers and what they like, and their understanding of the markets, and there's a lot of great banter on the group. So it would be great for you to come. Last question for the day. It's actually Ashish asking us, could you explain more about the subscription plans and the discount that's on offer? So Prabal, if you can actually get that up. So for everyone here, and some of you have already asked us on the chat already, for all of you who have attended, we have a special 10% off on our annual plan. We're really looking forward to you guys coming on board. There are a whole lot of insights that will just open up in the entire app in terms of access to all algos. Especially in the India plan opens up for you. Very simple. If you're already registered on our app, you're a registered user, you just have to go into the menu, hit subscription, put in this code WBNR 13, and boom, you're going to get your discount. And if you are not registered on our app, then we would like you to visit InvestorAi.co.uk, our website, and register from there. And then it's a very simple process for you to do that. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on name the channel, we're on all of that. You can get all of our videos there if you want to learn about us. Rate us on Google Store and Play Store. We've been seeing some really fabulous comments, so just leaving it out here for you guys. Otherwise, any questions you have, anything you want to know, you can reach Prabal or me, or just write to support@bridgeweave.com. That's support, SUPPORT @Bridgeweave. So InvestorAI's company is Bridgeweave. You heard these two gentlemen, talking to you about. We kept saying Bridgeweave, and you might know us just as InvestorAI. So Bridgeweave is the AI fintech company, out of UK, and InvestorAI is our app that's available globally. So thank you. Yeah.
Shruti, when we are on this slide, I just want to read the slide differently. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And this is an interesting way to read it. Okay, if the subscription is about 8,000 rupees a year, or if the subscription is about 890, and let us assume that we invest all the money in our Alpha 330 ideas, which means 3% return in 30 days. If you have an investment pool of 27,000 rupees, it funds for itself. Because you have 27,000 rupees, 3% on it is the 800 rupees, and you have actually funded yourself. So that's the way to read it. So you don't need to be a $1 million investor to find utility on this InvestorAi. You need to be investing about 30,000 rupees. And just thought I'll interpret it differently.
No, that's a fantastic way to do it. And you know what, I think that's how I'm going to do it the next time. So thank you, Ravi. Kunal, a special seminar on how to use InvestorAI. We actually have it up on our YouTube channel, but what I'm going to do is we are going to actually mail this out to you, the link, so that you know how to use InvestorAI. But I think it's time to plan another one called Beat the Street with InvestorAI, because everyone always beats the street with our insights. So thank you very much. And thank you, Sarthak. Thank you, Ravi. It was fabulous, this discussion. I learned a lot, and see you all next week. Same time, same place. We're all signing off. Thank you. Bye.
Yes,
Thank you.
bye-bye.